How many here have ever felt overwhelmed by all the details you have to keep track of? How many here have been kept up at night worrying, is there something important that I forgot? How many here have ever forgotten something important? Let me tell you something. I've read a lot of business books and a lot of self-help books, and most of them are junk. This one works. I've tried it, it works for me. Getting Things Done by Paul Allen. David Allen. Excuse me. There are two basic principles here. One, you've got to focus on the next action. Two, you've got to turn all your stuff into things to act upon. Let me explain this. Start right here. Stuff. Everything you've got to deal with, everything that's incoming. You put it all together so you don't lose track of it. And as soon as you've got it, as soon as you've got some time, you go through what we call the in-basket. Now this isn't a literal in-basket. A literal in-basket is actually part of it. Anything, any piece of paper, any mail that you've got, you put it in the in-basket, and that is the literal in-basket, and that's part of your figurative in-basket. But there are other components. Your email account, the inbox in your email account, that's part of your in-basket. Anything that you put on your desk so you can see it, that's part of your in-basket. Now, the important thing about the in-basket is you want to get it empty, completely empty as fast as possible. An item goes into the in-basket, it comes out, and it never ever goes back in. You do something with it. First, you process it. You pick it up, says, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? And the important question is it actionable? That's a great word for the day, by the way. Actionable. Something that you can do something specific with that will help. Right now. Can you do something about it? No? Well, you can file it away in reference. You can put it in a someday maybe file, and it just sits there for a while. I've got a special inbox I call do later, which I use for this purpose. Or if it's just some junk, you toss it. But maybe it's something that you can do something about right now. So what you do is you ask yourself, what's the next action? You notice that's right in the middle there because that is the central concept here. Once you've got past the inbox and the stuff, you've got to focus on the next action. You notice on the left here, projects. An important point here. You don't ever try to do a project. You break a project down into actions. And to do a project, you do the next action, and then the next action, and then the next action after that. You focus on the next action. Having someplace to put everything means you don't have to worry about forgetting something. Focusing on the next action keeps you from being overwhelmed by all the things that you have to deal with and remember and worry about. The next action focus helps you move forward constantly. Next step, ask yourself, is this something I can do right now in less than 2 minutes? If yes, do it. You're done with that thing. You can just completely forget it, wipe it off your mind, it's done. If not, then it's a little more complicated. You've got to review and you've got to think, is this something I can hand off to somebody else? If so, you hand it off to somebody else. Phone him, do an email, put it in his inbox, and then you make a note that you're waiting on this. Is this something I can defer? Is it something that has to be done at a particular time? Put it on your calendar. Or maybe it's something that can be done later, given the opportunity. Then it goes on your next actions list. Let me describe the next actions list. Next actions list, I do it on computer because this is something that you have to edit a lot and you have to change a lot and you have to look at a lot. What I do is I have a file in the following form. On the left hand, the area of concern, perhaps a project or a person, colon, and then what to do next. A next action. If there's more than one thing I can do next, more than one next action. I have my computer set up so that when I boot it up, my next action list comes up automatically. It's right up there and I see it. And I can ponder, what can I do now that I've got my inbox emptied? And in this way, I don't lose track of anything. So long as I get to my office regularly, I look at my calendar, I look at my next actions files, I look at my inbox, and I've got my projects, which, by the way, feed into the next actions list. Everything's there. I don't lose track of everything so long as I'm there. And if I don't happen to be there, I've got this to make notes. And as soon as I get home, in basket. And what I do is I feed this into the rest of the system, particularly my next actions list and my next 2 minutes if I can do it. And this way, I've gotten things under control. I've got a lot of problems with sleep, but this is one particular problem with sleep that I have solved, and I am very happy. Getting Things Done by David Allen. It works. Remember, you can't do projects, you can't do stuff, you can only do the next action. And don't try to remember everything in your head, you'll just go nuts. Do this instead. It worked for me, I think it'll work for you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.